Swish. Pew. Hey, what's up guys? Malicious Jasper here. Welcome back to a new video. This time I'm gonna show you how not to do path 1 of the Citadel of Flames. So I was playing with some guildies. Well, there's a whole story behind this. So I was playing with some guildies, right? So what I think the guild leader wanted to do path 1, a quick run of path 1 of Citadel of Flame, and path 1 is notorious for being a very short path, so I think an experienced group can do that between 10 and 15 minutes if you know how to do it, and it does give a quite a big reward. So it's really popular in running dungeons. So my guild leader asked if people in our guild were interested in doing a quick CoF run, and I thought to myself, well, usually it's pretty short. I think I'll join them. And it was not until later that I realized that I was in a terrible group. Not because of the players, don't get me wrong, not because of the players, but I was in a terrible group because of the professions, right? As you can see, there are 2 mesmers and 2 rangers. I usually, when I have the mentality of, you know, you can play whatever you like, right? You can play whatever profession you wish, whatever build you like, as long as we eventually get to the end and do what we have to do. I don't have any problems with that. But here's the but. 2 mesmers and 2 rangers in one group, not so good. So the first part of path 1 is actually simple. You just rush through the gate and kill a couple of chars, and immediately I noticed that it's not going too well. Why? Because it takes us a bit longer than usual to take them out. The problem is that mesmers are notorious for doing little damage, right? Their durability is pretty good because they have their clones. They can provide, I think, some support, I'm not sure, but it's mainly, I think, conditions and then, of course, their clones. And that's actually basically everything a mesmer can do. That's it. Mesmer doesn't have any FPS. No, DPS. Well, I was somewhere else in my mind. It doesn't have any damage per second. Can't do any area of effect damage, and is just all in all a pretty shitty profession, especially when it comes to running dungeons, because usually you need a certain amount of damage to defeat the boss, at least the boss at the end. And 2 mesmers, well, our damage per second is already crippled, right? But add 2 rangers to the mix and then everything gets fucked up. So this is the part when where you run over the bridge, no problems there. It's just keep on running and don't fight those enemies. But then you get into the next room, and that is annoying because you have to defeat I don't know what they're called, summoners or whatever, the ones with the red swords above their heads. You just have to kill them a couple of times. Usually you kill 2 or something, then run away, disengage, wait until the enemy is back in their original position, and then you run back and kill those summoners or whatever they're called. You kill them again until you release the prisoner in the cage that they are keeping prisoner, a char engineer, right? But now playing with 2 mesmers and 2 rangers, things are a lot more slow. Even rangers aren't that good of a profession, to be completely honest, in the sense that they do rely for quite a bit of damage on their pet, which is unfortunate, and the rest of their skills aren't I mean, don't get me wrong, I like playing as a ranger. Rangers aren't too bad, but if you combine the fact that there are 2 rangers and 2 mesmers in this group, then you know that your damage per second isn't gonna be all too big. And I think all of them even use longbows. I'm not sure, but it's just the damage per second is not enough. And as you can see, I sped most of the things up because it was I think it took us about 45 minutes to do path 1, which normally should take only 15 minutes. And if you're with a really advanced group, if you're with a really experienced group of guildies and all that shit, and you've done that together before and everyone knows its role, then you can maybe do it in 10 minutes. I don't know. It just takes longer than usual. And then in this part, it's with the fireballs of death. You have to pick up some blue flame thingy and bring it to the other side. But you know, keep dying, and my guild mates keep dying, and it takes us quite a while before we can actually open the door, which is also something that adds towards, you know, the time it takes to complete this dungeon, and that sucks. It sucks. It shouldn't have taken that long at all. And then we're in the next part, and there are 4 braziers or something like that, and you need to you need to have 1 player next to each brazier, and for a certain amount of time until the 5th player of your party can destroy the switch or whatever it is to get into the next room, right? So you need to stand with those braziers to be able to destroy something. I don't know what it is. And if that is destroyed, then only then can your team progress, right? I made a mistake here. I accidentally targeted the wrong char and used Ride the Lightning, which caused me to go away from the brazier, which did something. I don't know. It didn't work out. But why didn't it work out? It wasn't completely my fault, as you can see, because I was standing near a brazier. Now we're gonna switch the roles. I am going to destroy some sort of button or whatever. I'm going to destroy it this time while the other players stand near the brazier. Why is that important? Because I'm an elementalist. My damage per second, my DPS, is a lot bigger than that of a mesmer. The first time a mesmer tried to destroy that, and of course you know from the beginning that's not gonna end well. I mean, they have almost no damage, and you know, expecting a character like that, a professional like that, to do the heavy lifting, that's not gonna work. That's just not how it should be. And then the boss was the worst part. We thought when we would reach the boss that it would be smooth sailing, but we were mistaken. So the thing you need to know about the boss, it's a giant champion flame effigy, right? Searing effigy, and it can summon these kind of crystals that look like the original crystals that were summoned in the searing in the first Guild Wars, and you might be able to, you know, compare them a little bit to some of the crystals from Kralkatorrik, Elder Dragon Kralkatorrik, but I think the comparison with the original Guild Wars is much more. I mean, that's a better comparison, right? But those crystals, he can summon them. First of all, they do damage when he summons them, so don't stand in their area of effect range when they land, because you'll get knocked down and you'll get a little bit of damage. But the problem with those crystals is that you need to destroy them. Why? Because the end boss, this searing effigy, uses those crystals to heal himself. So as you can see in the beginning, we're struggling. Why? Because every time we do damage to him, every time he just, you know, takes some of those crystals and heals himself up again. And as you can see at this part, he's almost back at full health, which is really, really annoying because, you know, that's not the way to kill a boss. If he's at full health, we're not gonna get a reward. We're not gonna be able to kill him, so that would have been disastrous. So we couldn't kill him. So I think about halfway through the battle, some of my guildies started to realize that it would have been, well, the battle would be really difficult, but we kept on going, and I used my I think it's called lightning whip or whatever. I double wield daggers with my elementalist right now, and I use the air attunement and use the dagger attack, the normal dagger attack, to destroy as many crystals as I possibly can. So it is a bit towards the end of the video that you'll see that we're getting our act together, and I keep running around. I keep running circles around the searing effigy, trying to destroy as many crystals as possible, thus preventing the searing effigy from gaining too much health from his healing, right? But that still leaves the fact that the battle still took quite some time. Why? Again, with the rangers and mesmers. They are not known for their damage output. Let me put it this way. If you would compare it to a guardian or an elementalist or a warrior, warrior is a real favorite of the Guild Wars community. I mean, that's my opinion. I noticed that a lot of people prefer warriors to play warriors, or at least take warriors with them in dungeons and all that, because warriors do have quite a bit of damage output and huge durability and survivability, right? So they can take a pounding, but they can also deal quite a bit of damage. And you know, that's why people like warriors. Now elementalists, they can also do quite a bit of damage, right? As you can see here, I keep destroying as many crystals as I possibly can, giving the rest of my team a chance of destroying the searing elemental. Now it's not easy. Eventually they succeed, but I think personally that if we had another team setup, if we had, for instance, a warrior or a guardian or a thief, I almost said assassin, a thief with us, then our chances of doing this fast would have been much better. I don't say that you cannot play a mesmer or a thief, mesmer or a ranger when you want to do this. Don't get me wrong, but if you have a collection of, you know, only rangers or only mesmers, or a combination of the professions, and to be known as a little, you know, underpowered, then you're gonna have a bad time. For instance, rangers, nobody likes rangers in fractals. I mean, there are a lot of people, a lot of groups. Those are pickup groups, right? Random pickup groups, probably in guilds, and experienced groups who run fractals on a daily basis with each other. Probably something different. They probably take rangers with them because it's not a bad profession. But when you play with a random group of people, they usually prefer professions that are pretty easy to play in a decent sort of way. So that's why a lot of people prefer warriors and guardians and all that shit. So that's why it took us a real long time to get it done. Eventually it succeeded, but guys, don't make the same mistake I did. Don't take 2 mesmers and 2 rangers with you on CoF Path 1 unless you know them very well and you know that they're capable of doing what they're supposed to. So I hope you guys learn from my mistakes, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.